Donald Trump is the Wizard of Oz. He is the guy. It's a man, he plays Monopoly with real fucking buildings. This is a scary man. And he owns all these beauty pageants, Miss America, Miss Universe. Isn't that a bit like Michael Vick owning a series of pet stores? It's like, it's a fucking catch and release program for him. This is a man who said, my daughter is hot. Even people in Arkansas went, that's fucking wrong.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Yeah, we got light today. Hopefully you all can hear me because I did have to use the headphones because Puppers ate my hearing aids. So here we are. We do have a lot of catching up to do. So might as well start you out with the most egregious things about stuff. So I'm going to slap a trigger warning on here in case you have not heard about the current case coming out of Atlanta. But I do have to keep you updated. If you do not want to hear about it, yes, it has to do with child death. Step away and come back in 2 minutes and 14 seconds. Okay? Okay.
Around 10, or strike that about 8:40 in the evening, she was fully dilated and they told her to start pushing. Well, during the course of the pushing, the baby stopped descending. There's something called a shoulder dystocia, fancy word for saying that the baby's shoulders could not fit through the pelvic girdle. It got stuck by the bone there in the pelvic girdle. That was recognized, and what wound up happening after that is just brutal. Dr. St. Julian came in, and she, in the process of trying to deliver this baby, pulled on the baby's head and neck so hard and manipulated them so hard that the bones in the baby's skull, face, and neck were broken. When Dr. St. Julian finally took Miss Ross to the operating room for a C-section, cesarean section, where they cut the belly and deliver the baby through the abdomen, when the womb was open, the feet came out, the body came out, and there was no head. The head was stuck in the vagina, and the head subsequently was delivered vaginally. The baby had been decapitated. Dr. St. Julian was grossly negligent for applying ridiculously excessive force on the baby's head and neck. Dr. St. Julian and the nurses at Southern Regional Medical Center, they were grossly negligent for not getting the help of the on-site in-hospital OB in a timely manner. They have a hospitalist obstetrician who's there on site. And when doctors have problems with delivery, the first thing you do is call them and you get help. You get another perspective, another angle. This was not done in a timely manner, negligently. And then also, the nurses at Southern Regional Medical Center were grossly negligent for failing to advocate and insist in other capacities that Ms. Ross got a C-section quicker, sooner, in a more timely manner. So those are the allegations that we claim in this suit. We just filed it. We're going to be very, very aggressive with the discovery. We're going to put all of these people who were in the room under oath and find out what they have to say specifically about what happened that tragic evening.
When we talk about medical apartheid, this is what we're talking about. And the doctor, try not to have the light directly in my eye, sorry. The doctor is a black woman. But the staff as a whole neglected this woman. Severely neglected this woman. This is why I say, whether it's a doctor's appointment, you're being rushed to the hospital, especially if you are a woman of color, specifically a black woman, keep a buddy system. I'm 46 years old. I still have a buddy system. I still have someone there just in case to see the things that I may not be able to see and to advocate when I may not be able to advocate for myself. Because when we're in vulnerable positions, we can't always see everything. Moving on from there, moving on. First of all, can everybody hear me okay? It's been a while since I've had to use the headset. So let me know in the comment section if you can hear me okay, if I need to adjust my volume or anything. Everybody good? Thumbs up. Okay, great. Today was the, for lack of a better term, the civilian space voyage. Humans just don't learn. So coming from Fagan Wasani Technologies, Virgin Galactic successfully completes first civilian space flight. Virgin Galactic, a space tourism company, has successfully completed its first space flight with civilian passengers on board. The historic mission allowed the 3 passengers to experience weightlessness and witness the Earth from an altitude of approximately 53 miles. The space flight took place today, marking a significant milestone in the commercial space industry. Virgin Galactic spacecraft reached space, providing a unique experience for passengers who were not professional astronauts. But why? But why? And my thing is, they keep saying we want to make it accessible for everybody. It's $450,000 to go. How much do they think we make every year? And I'm sorry. I am sorry. I'm a firm believer that some things you need to just leave to the professionals. Okay? I am not an astronaut. Why would you trust me as a member of the crew? Plus, my brain is a wonderland. Do you know how easily I get distracted? And you put me out in space where I can really see the stars. You'll be like, Taz, you need to handle this lever. And then I'd be like, ooh, star, ooh, Mars, ooh, Pluto. We're going to be lost in space for real. No. Now, shout out to the Black mother-daughter duo. They did make history today. I'm glad they didn't blow up. But see, there's another space voyage that's going to have some billionaires on there and a comedian, the one who used to date Kim Kardashian. Sorry, his name escapes me. Now, if that... I'm not saying I wish something would happen. I'm just saying if it happened, I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be verklempt. I wouldn't be kerfluffled. Okay. I'm just glad that they had real equipment and not another Logitech controller. But they show enough love to keep putting 18-year-olds on these things. I'm just saying, if Pete Davidson, that's his name, Pete Davidson. Yeah, I'm just now the story of the week is fuck around and find out given the Bama boat brawl. Let's get into it just a little bit. Now, yes, I had to include some jokey jokes because it's me. Here we go.
August 5th is now an official holiday. Happy Thanksgiving, y'all.
Whew. You see what happened in Alabama?
Mm-hmm. Them white folk tried that in a small town.
When he tossed that hat like Bobby Shmurda?
It was basically a bat symbol.
Bet they thought Wakanda Forever was just a Marvel movie.
Until Aquaman showed up.
And the chairman of the board walked.
Oh, he summoned that chair like it was Thor's hammer.
He who be worthy.
All just because a black man was doing his job.
And they jumped him.
The caucasity.
I know. Jesus.
Under the boardwalk. They f***ed around and found out. Under the boardwalk.
They took a chair to their mouth.
Oh, yeah, get back to work. Under the boardwalk. Boardwalk.
Everyone's talking about the battle at Montgomery, right? And I want to share my favorite part of the whole fight video. But first, some context. This is how it all started, with this gentleman taking the boat off the dock so that the larger boat can dock. He has to explain it over and over and over again to multiple people while they have to move their boat off the dock. Then this guy runs up and he turns his hat backwards. That's how I know shit was getting real. I guess buddy with the salmon shorts brought the energy, so we start clapping. Like, what's good? What you trying to do? Let's talk about it. And then he explains again. I love this angle because you can see how far dudes swam to the fight. You can see all the black people on the boat. And look what the riverboat choir started singing. And listen to what Auntie said. But being the gracious black man that he is, he kept explaining to multiple people why the boat couldn't be on the dock. And that's when he gets attacked by this white dude who was upset. At that point, he takes off his hat, looks to where his help is coming from, and sends out the signal. And you know what we had to do. Of course, you got the swimmer, aka Aquaman. He swam up there to handle his business. You saw the dude with the folding chair get busy. He definitely going to jail, though. You know what I'm saying? In front of the police, he binked that white lady. It was a bit much. But my favorite part, there's a part of the video where two white dudes run up and try to attack black men from behind. And mind you, this is after they saw the three black dudes skipping towards the fight. They probably getting that, yeah, what's good with it now? What you was on now? Come to the dock. Come to the dock. They ran up and saw that the threat was too great for them. And they started to retreat. They started to retreat. In the black community, we got a rule. Run up, get done up. So you ran up. You can't just run up and then expect to calmly walk away like, all right, y'all got it. We don't even know that no more. Y'all already ran up. The run up had already been initiated, so the done up had to get commenced. You know what I'm saying? Are you following here? That felt like a scene out of The Lion King.
Shall we run for our lives?
Oh, yes, let's.
There was too much to handle. But when you run up, you can't just turn around and calmly walk away like you didn't run up. I hope y'all have a good day. Love and light. But we will fight. Amen, Ashe.
That's what the fuck I'm talking about. God, that's what I'm talking about. It was so black ass. It was black ass. Love you. Thank you. Damn. Proud of you. Woo.
Things you most likely already know about the Montgomery Brawl. The black man everyone was referring to as security was actually Damian Pickett, the co-captain of the boat, reported by CNN. It was mentioned the white family had caused trouble in past years, stealing a golf cart used for elderly clients and people with disabilities. The young man who swam across to help is 16-year-old Aaron Rudolph, who has now been given the title of Aquaman and immortalized in the comic book drawing with the caption, The Scuba Gooding Jr. Story. The only people who have been charged so far, according to CNN, are Richard Roberts, Alan Todd, and Zachary Shipman. All three men have been identified as white men. In all, 13 people were detained and questioned for several hours Saturday before being released. Montgomery is historically significant as because it was known as the cradle of the Confederacy, served as the first capital of the Confederate States of America. The riverfront is significant because it's where enslaved people were brought to, paraded down Commerce Street, and then sold in the city's slave markets. By 1860, there were more than 435,000 enslaved people in the state, according to the Equal Justice Initiative. Back to the brawl. The police chief presiding over the case said, I don't think we're near finished. We have a lot more work to do. Given the history of Montgomery, Alabama, I'd say yes, there's a whole lot more work to be done.
Now, as always, before I dive into this, make sure you check out the links in the description of this video because Tuesday's Tastastic audio podcast does deal with this and a little bit of the history behind it. But let me break some stuff down to y'all. The family that started this mess is known for causing trouble. They're also known for being racist. The father owns a convenience store. And on Facebook, in 4K, he said that he doesn't care about getting our money. He prefers the superior white dollar. See, this is what happens when you're so stupid and so riddled with white supremacy that you forget whose dollar carries the most value here in the United States. Because if we don't buy from you, baby, you getting shut down. But they come to the dock around the same time every year. Now, the golf cart incident, they took the golf cart and took it back to the hotel that they were staying at because they're residents of Selma. If you're new around here, you're about to learn. When I get into a story, I go down the rabbit hole, okay? I'm nosy when it comes to history, okay? So they come down from Selma. These Selma Bama bitches. And don't come on here talking about, but Tez, I'm from Selma. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the Selma Bama bitches. That's what we forever gonna call this family, the Selma Bama bitches. Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye. The ayes have it. They come down and make a ruckus every year. Previously, the police would call their antics pranks, or it's just harmless, telling the crew and everybody else, oh, don't press charges. We'll take care of it. We'll take care of it. Are you catching why they felt so emboldened? So emboldened. That's why they figured they could run up and not get done up. But they found out today that we were born by a river and a little tear. And these hands right here got some intent. It's been a long beat down coming, and I know you fucked up. And for those that want to say this family isn't racist, if them getting caught in 4K saying what they said, and then having to be told for 20 minutes by the captain of the ship to move, get out the way. Want to find out what happened when they went to the hospital? Of course you do. Take a look.
The police, they said, oh, everybody's in here. They said what?
So let me catch up to speed. So this is an interview that they're having with one of these contract nurses that works at this hospital in Selma. This is a hospital where, that racist family in Montgomery where they got their ass whooped. They went to this hospital, right? And this nurse, who happens to be black, and apparently there was a lot of black medical staff, this family, seeing it, they, I guess, were scared for their life still, and basically said, oh, there's nothing but N-words at this hospital. And they called the police. They called the police on the medical staff at the hospital trying to treat them. Police show up and they say, look, either you get treated or you can just leave or whatever. And they left. So any of you fuckers out there who feel bad for this poor family, blah, 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 they'd rather leave the hospital than get treated by black people. They're racist. So.
Now, after the podcast, if y'all want a little chuckle, head on over to TikTok and just put in Snuffleupagus. There is a mugshot that is going to tickle your soul. It's going to tickle your spirit. And you're really going to see just how much racists will hurt themselves. Because, like, what were the cops going to do? What were the cops going to do? Go up to every black employee at a hospital and say, could you call your white counterpart? You're in Alabama. I know there's some small towns where you don't see anybody else. But baby, I'm going to tell y'all like I told y'all before. Black folk are everywhere, okay? We are like American Express. We're everywhere you want to be. But here's also a perspective that I want y'all to keep in mind. And also keep in mind that, yes, the boat was called the Harriet too. And that particular place, yes, we have all the jokes. Yes, it was a long time coming. Yes, you got to see in real life, in real time, in 4K, how the black community comes together to protect our own and protect other people. I want you to remember, slaves used to be brought in there. Slaves used to be sold there. And I say, keep on. Keep on. I think we should go, you know what? Next pit stop, Lake Lanier. If you know, you know. But pay close attention to this perspective.
We gotta talk about this pattern I'm noticing with black people. You already knew that as a white man. I gotta interject my 2 cents on this one. Everybody's talking about, oh, this black man was wielding this chair and hit a white woman with it, but nobody's talking about what this black woman did after that. Even though that white woman had her hands all over everybody, and I do mean everybody, this woman still defended her. The pattern I'm noticing, aside from the fact that white women have so much caucasity that they're even willing to put their hands on cops, black people still defend us even when we cause them harm. This was not a once-off, you don't believe me? Remember 18-year-old Keisha? She defended a white supremacist, laid her body on top of his to keep him from getting bludgeoned to death? Or what about this man in the UK, Patrick? Patrick, as well as a few other black men, actually carried this white supremacist to safety. Or like in Louisville, Kentucky, where black people formed a ring around the target to keep it from getting looted and vandalized. Not only that, but they escorted this cop to safety. Or do you remember Daniel Shaver, who was shot and killed by police? You know who showed up for him? Because it sure the fuck wasn't All Lives Matter. No, it was Black Lives Matter. That's who showed up for him. People are clinging to the black man wielding a chair because they don't want to focus on the black woman who stood up for that white woman because it doesn't fit their fucking narrative. That even when we cause black people harm, they still put their asses on the line for us. And still, white people will sit here and try to vilify them for defending themselves after being attacked by racists.
Now, let me put this into further context for you. Just a week before, cast on several social media platforms, there was a black woman who was shopping in a grocery store that was attacked by a man. Now, there are certain people who found this man, contacted his employer. Employer did the proper thing. Was like, we don't play this. And there were so many white men. What happened before? What did she do? Da da da. But then, when a white woman chooses to get in a brawl, these same white men who always talk about equal rights, equal fights, equal rights, equal lefts. This is why I say they will always protect the default damsel in distress, because the default damsel in distress is raised and indoctrinated to protect them at all costs and back everything that they do, including voting away their own rights after they put the labor on melanated women to get them the rights. And if you think I'm reaching and stretching, white women became the biggest benefactors of affirmative action, but then sat there and voted people into place to take affirmative action away. But these will be the same people who'll watch a movie, whether it's based on a true story or not, and watch one of the main characters exhibit the behavior that they exhibit every day and go off on that character, go off about that character, call all their friends and say, she wasn't right. We shouldn't do that. See, this is why I'm unified. You're unified with who, boo-boo? Who are you unified with? These are the same women that'll be like, what about women supporting women? What about it, Beckiana? What about it, Susan? Karen? Because Karen, it seems like you're always aligned with Richard. And if you don't catch why I call a male Karen Richard, what's the nickname for Richard? Now, since the Bama Brawl, okay, post fade in the water, if you will, after the first annual fades given, and like I said, my vote for next year, when we all get together and celebrate, should be Lake Lanier. Okay, there is some advice. If you are wondering, and you are not melanated, what should happen? The work begins today. Listen to this good pastor.
Hey, yo, share this with the people who got a problem with black folks celebrating the Battle of Montgomery, a.k.a. the Alabama Sweet Tea Party, a.k.a. Fadesgiving, a.k.a. Goonteenth, a.k.a. the Montgomery Mollywop, a.k.a. Fade in the Water, a.k.a. Rumble at the Riverboat, a.k.a. Cinco de Negro, a.k.a. Cinco de Agosto. I got advice on how you can get us to stop. You want to hear it? Structural change and reparations. If this country ever engages in a serious project to bring about structural change and reparations, I promise you, stuff like this wouldn't even happen. Because with structural change and reparations, white folk wouldn't be so delusional to think they could brutally attack a black man while he was doing his job and get away with it. The sun won't let me be great. It was messing up my shot. So if your desire is for black people to stop celebrating when white people get their ass whooped for attacking a black man who was doing his job, take that energy and direct it towards structural change and reparations. These racist white folk attacked a black man on a dock that was once used to move black bodies as cargo and property. And you want us to feel bad because they got their ass whooped? You want us to feel bad because some white woman who threw herself in the middle of a brawl got hit in the head with a chair? She got what she had coming. Because I swear, every time one of us get killed by the cops, y'all say, well, they should have just complied. Well, maybe these white folks shouldn't have attacked the man. They wouldn't have got their ass whooped. And yes, we're definitely going to talk about this more on the Holy Smoke Cigars and Spirituality podcast recording this Saturday. If you want to be a part of that, you know how me and my crew get down. Hit the link in my bio, click join the Patreon community, and meet us Saturday as we break this down even further. Oh yeah, hi, I'm a pastor. I know you're not used to us talking like this, but deal with it.
And if you're not following the Christian Williams, and it's Christian with a K, make sure that you do. Yes, he really is a pastor. No, he is not one of those Bible thumping, if you know the term, foot washing Baptist preachers. He upholds the word as you're supposed to uphold the word. He definitely keeps his light trimmed and burning, and he's definitely his brother's keeper. Whether you're LGBTQIA plus, whether you are black, brown, indigenous, if you're white, it doesn't matter. So, but what he said is very true. So, the reason why I say the work starts today, and I'm going to say this until either it happens or the time comes that I ascend to the ancestors. If you have energy to argue online, argue at the store, argue every Christmas season, every spooky season with your family members. I don't know why you still breaking bread with them family members, but I digress. You can argue with the people whose salary you pay. You can argue with the people who are benefiting from universal health care while they're telling you that you don't need it, you don't deserve it. You can argue with the people who are making millions of dollars off of your tax dollars, but they don't want to pay you a livable wage. What do I mean? You can argue with your representative from the beginning, starting at your school board, going up to your assemblymen, your aldermen, your mayors, your local congressmen, your state senators and representatives, all the way up to the federal level. Make them work for you. Tell them to get that John Lewis bill signed. Tell them to make lynching a hate crime. Tell them to give proper parameters for crimes to be considered hate crimes. Tell them that it is time to dismantle the police and give us a police structure that will actually protect and serve. Also tell them it's time to impeach a few of those associate justices from SCOTUS. Because we got people up there that can be impeached because they lied. Because they have conflict of interest. And they're up there telling us we can't tell them if they're wrong, but isn't their whole job to tell us that we're wrong? See, if they can set rules for we can set rules for thee. Because if you call yourself an ally, an accomplice, a friend, a family member, protect us. And protect us on that level. Because I don't give a damn if you show up to a fist fight. Because that's one day. And I have to live in this skin 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365, 366 during a leap year. I'm not always going to have somebody by me. I'm not always going to have somebody that can record. I don't have somebody always here when I have to go through the death threats and the egregious comments. So if you care, protect us wholly by protecting us with legislation just as you are protected. Finally, even the scales of justice. Now, y'all, so many things are connected. There's only a step or two of separation between anything or anyone. And right now, there's an outbreak of syphilis in Florida. Of course, because DeSantis looks like a syphilic outbreak. Don't come for me. He does. You know he does. You know he does. But did you know that there's a pathway between syphilis and HIV? And the last time we had a statewide epidemic of HIV and AIDS, it was when Pence was still governor because he was in denial. Take a look at what's about to happen to Florida. And y'all want to keep going to visit. They got stuff killing you in the water and everything else, but okay.
There's a syphilis outbreak in Texas. It's really bad. Congenital syphilis is up by 128%.
This means that there will most likely be an HIV outbreak in Texas in about 18 to 24 months. Hi, my name is Evan. I am a bioethicist, and I did my thesis on misinformation, disinformation, and conspiracy theories as a threat to public health. So a very little known fact about syphilis and chlamydia is that they actually make you biologically more predisposed or more vulnerable to the HIV virus, about 25% more vulnerable. The other thing we know is that what leads to someone testing positive for syphilis and chlamydia, the behaviors, the lack of resources, the lack of information or understanding, a combination of the sociological things, is also what leads to HIV seroconversion for a lot of people. Which makes sense, right? Because these things have similar contractability, like ways that they are contracted. And so someone who's been exposed to one STI has a lot of sociological risk of being so exposed to a number of STIs. Now, the other thing you need to know about Texas is that there was a judge who just blocked the ability to access preventative care through insurance. Judge Rita O'Connor blocked the requirement that health insurance companies cover PrEP, which is a preventative medication that engages or stops the seroconversion to HIV, based on religious freedom laws. This also blocked cancer screenings, or certain kinds of cancer screenings, and screenings for diabetes. So the syphilis outbreak is actually just the start of a trajectory of a number of outbreaks or issues that are going to expand in Texas over the next 18 months to 5 years. Because with an outbreak of syphilis, we need to engage preventative methods to protect against that transition into HIV seroconversion, which means you should be expanding access to prevention, especially prevention medications, not rescinding or reducing it. The other thing that happens, especially with acute and advanced HIV infection, especially long-standing infection, is the risk of certain cancers, a number of certain cancers. Also, if you have a history of certain cancers, HIV increases your risk of those cancers reoccurring. This is a whole other video, and I don't have time for that, but HIV and cancer are very linked to each other in a lot of ways in terms of causation or relation. What's ultimately going to happen is there's going to be a population of people who are going to be triple tapped starting at this syphilis infection, and it's going to be ongoing throughout their life with at no point preventative methods stepping in or early detection methods being able to step in and disrupt a cycle. And this is going to lead to sicker people with larger community spread. I didn't even have time to cover what long-standing syphilis infection does to you, especially your brain.
Some of y'all might want to come out the bag at me after I tell y'all this, but the truth is the truth. A lot of y'all already know what the long-standing results are for untreated or barely treated or undertreated syphilis is, because you've buried your grandparents. And some of you, depending on your age, your parents because of it. See, these boomers and the silent generation love to say that they have the moral high ground and that their generations and back in the day, everybody was so morally superior and they weren't so loose in the caboose. But in fact, they were. In fact, they were. Why do you think so many people from those generations were raised believing that their mothers and fathers were their sisters and brothers? Why do you think so many of them spent summers and half the school year in the South or in the North? They tell all these infantilized love stories about spending that one night with their true love before they went off to war. But they don't tell you if that person came back from war and kept their word on marrying them and making an honest woman out of them. So you've already seen the long-term effects. And if you're not familiar with the Tuskegee experiment, get familiar with it. But there are a lot of links in between. And if you're not following Crutches and Spice on TikTok, you need to, because there is an outstanding, outright war on the disabled community. And a lot of times the reason why they're cutting back on treatments or not giving people proper information, because you would think, why is this not nationwide news? Because the United States has a long-standing history, just like Nazi Germany, of eugenics, that if you're not perfectly able-bodied, they don't care about you. They will wipe you out. Why do you think during COVID lockdowns they didn't care? They didn't care about the immunocompromised, not even the immunocompromised within their family. And this is why I say it's incredibly important to learn and understand history, because there is nothing new going on right now. Nothing. And you can miss a lot of the connections and miss that you already have the information in front of you. Excuse me. Because they're skewing history so much. They're not just skewing history to remove the innovations and the true history of marginalized people. They're removing bits of history so that those that can't turn a big enough profit for them get removed from society. Why do you think certain people do not care about certain causes until it affects their child? Then all of a sudden they want all of this research. But when their child gets to a point where they're normal enough for them, they're no longer out there advocating for them. Because remember Jerry's kids? Jerry died. And you would have thought Jerry's kids died with him. No more telephones. No more any of that. Hmm. Now remember, I keep bringing up Reagan and why so many crazed conservatives and tyrannical evangelicals love both Reagan. They try to hide their love for Nixon and Trump. Here's why.
They say history tends to repeat itself, and I'm going to tag the original creator in this video. I'm definitely going to check out this little documentary on Paramount Plus. I wonder where Donald Trump got the whole Make America Great Again theme. Because it's worked before, and we've heard it before, especially if you were, my age, and at that time you were probably just a young kid. And then it starts to come back to you. See, Ronald Reagan is the reason why we had such a high deficit in the 80s. Ronald Reagan's policies are the very reason why there is such a wealth gap between there's the rich and then there's us. That's it. And that's because of Ronald Reagan's policies, the trickle-down economic bullshit. See, when I use Ronald Reagan's own words against Republicans today, nothing. Silent. Because the only true thing Ronald Reagan ever said was that Social Security has nothing to do with balancing a budget. Social Security has nothing to do with the national debt or deficit. Period. So check this out.
Let us pledge to each other, with this great lady looking on, that we can, and so help us God, we will make America great again. Thank you very much.
Education's dogma study has not had a sufficiently negative impact on its legacy. Dogmacy is all about plausible deniability that allowed Reagan to protect himself, and that has allowed the Republican Party for the last 4 decades to deny that that's who Ronald Reagan was, to turn him into a hero, to insist that he really did care about the average American working family. But when people stand back, they see that in fact Reagan was a divisive figure, someone willing to do what he knew was wrong, to divide Americans as a way to win power.
Reagan's genius as a politician was that he wrapped his racism in a facade of fatherly love. And it was something that black people in this country understood was a facade. And we understood it by his words and his deeds.
For those without job opportunities, we'll stimulate new opportunities, particularly in the inner cities where they live. For those who've abandoned hope, we'll restore hope and we'll welcome them into a great national crusade to make America great again.
When you watch something like that, it all makes sense. It worked for good old Ronnie, right? So go click on Gray Street Phoenix. She has the entire video there. She'll be tagged right in here.
Here's an additional nugget of information. Did you know that they sold Ronald Reagan dolls? Had the little string in the back, had a few of his little sayings. And you know, Trump's secondary tagline, America First, that comes from 1916 and Woodrow Wilson. Yes, the same man who decided the very first film to ever be shown in the White House should be Birth of a Nation. The racist, overtly racist film that gave the KKK the idea to start burning crosses. I keep telling you all, there's nothing new. Okay, I don't know why I disconnected. Can you all still hear me? How great of a nation we can be without education, because who's going to teach the next generation? Who's going to be the next generation of doctors and lawyers? They want to keep telling you that being educated is a bad thing. But without education, society cannot move forward. But you know, they love what they love. Now, We do have some Trump news. Now, regarding the upcoming GOP debate, this is coming from Politico.com. Trump says he won't sign RNC loyalty pledge ahead of first debate. Trump said Wednesday he will not sign a pledge to support the eventual Republican nominee, an RNC requirement for participation in the first primary debate. I honestly believe Trump just doesn't want to be asked about his indictments, especially with Chris Christie there. The former president rejected signing the pledge during an interview with Newsmax's Eric Bolling, his new favorite place, since, Fox News has been sued so many times for backing his lies, perpetuating his lies. They're really not trying to mess with him. Although the first two GOP debates will be handled by two different Fox News subsidiaries. Adding that he would announce next week whether he plans to attend the first debate on August 23rd. I won't sign the pledge, Trump said. Why would I sign a pledge if there are people on there I wouldn't have? But Trump, my guy, you keep saying that you are the opponent for Joe Biden, that you are the front runner by so much. And in this interview, he went on to say this person is polling at 0. This person is polling at 2%. Didn't bring up DeSantis, though. I wouldn't either. They're two peas in a pod that are just fighting in the pod. But if you're so confident you're going to get the nomination, sign the paper. Or are you just avoiding possibly being held accountable by your own base? I'm just saying, seems a little fishy. And then coming from NPR.org, special counsel proposes a trial date for Trump January 6th case. Because remember, they had a deadline coming up where we went over the calendar last week as to when all these motions have to be in. Prosecutors in the Office of Special Counsel Jack Smith are proposing the federal judge in Washington, D.C. set a start date of January 2nd, 2024 for former President Donald Trump's trial on charges related to efforts to overturn the 2020 election. The government lawyers estimate the case could last about 4 to 6 weeks. Now remember, Trump's legal team for this case keeps saying, we don't have enough time, we don't have enough time, they had all this time, we need more time, we need more time. Now January 6th puts him right at the cusp of the gung-ho election season, okay? This is right before the Iowa caucus. This is before, Super Tuesday, all of these things. So it's like, you wanted all this time, we're willing to give it to you. Now step off the campaign trail and handle these charges. Most importantly, a January 2nd trial date would vindicate the public's strong interest in a speedy trial, an interest guaranteed by the Constitution and federal laws in all cases, but of particular significance here, where the defendant, a former president, is charged with conspiring to overturn the legitimate results of the 2020 presidential election, obstruct the certification of the election results, and discount citizens' legitimate votes, they wrote in a new filing. The former president, who is the front runner for the GOP nomination in 2024, has been suggesting he wants to delay the case perhaps until after the next election because he is so stuck in his ego. He believes that he is going to be reelected and he will have protection and be able to pardon himself. Now, my boy, you never had the popular vote and you've lost chunks of your voter base because they've died from COVID, they've been arrested and cannot vote again, or they're waking up to you. Good luck with that. If he regains the White House, Trump could instruct his attorney general to drop the case or even seek to pardon himself. Trump has pleaded not guilty to the federal charges. And let's just keep in mind, Trump has attempted to weaponize the Department of Justice while he was previously in office. And he has said repeatedly, that if he returns to the White House, he's going to unequivocally target people who rightfully so investigated him and are bringing or have already brought indictments his way. Now, I don't know if you heard, but Trump has a new campaign ad that's targeting Fonnie Willis in Fulton County, Georgia. Now, this ad is only to be played in Georgia. I wonder why. And he's spewed all of these egregious rumors regarding Mrs. Willis. Now, coming from the New York Post, Atlanta DA Fonnie Willis fires back at derogatory and false Trump attacks. A Georgia prosecutor expected to indict Donald Trump within days for his attempts to overturn the 2020 election results in the state has responded to accusations by the former president's campaign. Can y'all just start calling him Mr. Trump? Campaign that she is too incompetent, tainted, and corrupt to bring the case. Isn't it funny that everyone with impeccable track records when it comes to the judicial system, he's calling incompetent, corrupt, and tainted because they're not bootlicking him? And given all the rumors, I don't even know if they can be called rumors because these are from former employees. How many times his diaper runneth over? That's some nasty bootlicking. Fulton County District Attorney Fonnie Willis told her staff in a Wednesday email obtained by the Atlanta Journal-Constitution that a TV ad alleging political bias and unprofessional conduct on her part was derogatory and false. You may not comment in any way on the ad or any of the negativity that may be expressed against me, your colleagues, this office in the coming days, weeks, or months, Willis said in the missive address to members of the Fulton County District Attorney's Office. Now, here's a portion, just a portion of the letter. Okay? Good morning, FCDA family. It is my understanding that an ad was put in the Atlanta market to run between today, August 9th, and August 13th that will have derogatory and false information about me as a district attorney of the Atlanta Judicial Circuit. Apparently, a lot of money was spent to run this ad in the Atlanta market over the next 5 days. Oops, sorry, why did the ad pop up? That means the ad will run quite frequently over the next 5 days. Each of you represents me, especially ADAs who all took an oath under my name. We often remind you, if you are an ADA, you are my personal staff and represent me. Many of you are quite kind to me, very protective, and will become very defensive if someone attempts to attack me, the office, or your colleagues. You may not comment in any way on the ad or any of the negativity that may be expressed against me, your colleagues, this office in coming days, weeks, or months. We have no personal feelings against those we investigate or prosecute, and we should not express any. This is business. It will never be personal. We have a job to do. In this office, we prosecute based on the facts and the law. The law is nonpartisan. You should feel no need to defend me. I shared with this office at last Friday's meeting 1/1000th of the negative or derogatory comments I received. I invited you into an hour of my typical day. I am not concerned with calls, emails, or ads, and you should not be either. And that is how you have to handle it, because the moment that anyone from that office steps up and says anything, it's going to turn into a back and forth. And we know how Trump's base is. They focus on the effect and not the cause. And then all of a sudden it's, see, she hates him. See, this is a political attack. See, she's not professional. See, and trust me, as a Black woman, I know what this feels like, because somebody can do you dirty publicly, repeatedly, egregiously, and the moment you go, stop, you know that's wrong. Oh my God, she's attacking them. She's so brutal. Let him keep foaming at the mouth. Let all the focus stay on him. He wants the camera time. Give it to him. Give it to him. Let him spend so much time causing his legal team to scramble to defend his comments. And he keeps getting people who love to be in the spotlight. They're not going to be properly prepared. I mean, I don't know how you're going to prepare for all these cases put against him because he tells on himself. They subpoenaed Twitter to get all of his Twitter information. They've already subpoenaed text messages, emails. Like the cases are stacked. Let Trump keep unraveling and causing himself and his legal teams, plural, to focus on the playground antics. Let him. Let him. Because ain't no way I will get indicted 3 times in 4 months and my focus is getting on the internet, on social media, or having a bunch of interviews to talk shit. Because I promise you, if somebody was to run up, Trump would shut up. Because every time he's in a courtroom with Jack Smith, he's like this. Mm-mm. 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 And speaking of Twitter, I'm going to call it Twitter because that's what his daddy named it, Twitter. I don't give a damn that the stepdaddy done came in and tried and adopted Twitter and wants to rename it X. Fuck that shit. I'm going by what was on the original birth certificate. So Musk has tried to help Trump, even though I thought Musk and Trump wasn't buddy no more after Trump was talking shit about Musk. But Musk keeps on the slide trying to defend covertly Trump. I don't know what's going on. You know, white men with pseudo wealth and no intelligence have some weird alliances, but take a look.
Elon Musk and Donald Trump are in cahoots. It's been revealed that special counsel Jack Smith, who's been investigating Trump for trying to overthrow democracy, got a search warrant for Trump's defunct Twitter account, and Elon Musk tried to stop it. You see, the special counsel said that there's evidence in Trump's Twitter drafts or direct messages that would speak towards premeditation, conspiracy, or otherwise consciousness of guilt. And in January of 2023, the Department of Justice got a search warrant for Trump's Twitter account, with the additional condition that Twitter wouldn't be allowed to disclose the search warrant to Trump. And Elon Musk was like, I kind of want to tell him. And the Justice Department was like, we'd really rather you didn't. And the whole point is because Trump's got this really bad habit of hiding or destroying evidence or tipping other people off so that they can hide or destroy evidence. In fact, that's what 2 of his indictments are about in the classified documents scandal. And Elon Musk was like, nah, we're not going to comply. And also, Trump might want to exert executive privilege. And the DOJ said, 1, that's speculative. 2, that's not for you to decide. And 3, Twitter is not the Oval Office. And Musk was like, let's not do anything until the courts decide on this. And the DOJ was like, yes, let's get the courts involved. And the court was like, hey, Twitter, if you don't comply with this search warrant, you're going to be held in contempt of court. And we're going to start putting fines on you of $50,000 the first day, $100,000 the second day, $200,000 the third day, and it's going to keep doubling from there. And after 3 days and $350,000 of fines, Twitter finally relented. And I know there's going to be some Elon Musk fans in my mentions who come out and say, Elon Musk is just a First Amendment absolutist, man. That's why he did it. Nah, dudes. Musk's a right-wing crypto bro who got red-pilled on the internet and wants Trump and the Republicans to win the next election. Simple as that. And with that in mind, buckle up for some interesting times on Twitter, sorry, I mean X.com, between now and Inauguration Day 2025.
Yeah, because Elon Muskrat doesn't care about freedom of speech. Okay, that Afrikaner does not care. Because the things that he is now, words that he claims that will get you either banned or get you a CGB on Twitter, he doesn't care. And he's absolutely right. He got red-pilled on the internet as a full-grown man. Once again, it goes to show, money does not equate to intelligence at all. Oh, Musk is of European descent. He's an Afrikaner. He comes from the continent of Africa because he's a colonizer to there. That's what they call Afrikaners over there. So, yeah. But as always, thank you all for joining me here on Conversations with Taz for Think About It Thursdays. Once again, let me remind you to check out the links in the description of this video, and I will see you all tomorrow for Freeform Friday. And I wish I could tell you what's going to be on Freeform Friday, but I never know until about 7 o'clock after I siphon through all the messages as to what people want me to discuss on Fridays. It'll be something. Sometimes a little scary, sometimes they're not. But as always, each one teach one, each one reach one. Till tomorrow, y'all.